Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the Big Bird coloring right here, drawing coloring right here. Lesson learned is that so far as talking about is that a number of things to be talking about, such as for Big Bird right here, and say Big Bird for like the teacher Big Bird is for lesson learned, in which I'm sure everybody here have has learned that from lesson learned, from like whatever mistakes that you made, such as if you didn't do something, or you maybe didn't turn something in like you were supposed to, or whatever it is, then maybe I can maybe go on for maybe a couple of stories from lesson learned, that maybe the fact that I cheated on a test, or is they using the word cheating, or maybe if you steal money from somebody, or if you stole something, or maybe if you were to sneak inside of a instead of maybe the teacher's lounge, for a soda or whatever it is, maybe you were to sneak around, maybe sneak around and try to get beer or something like that, try to get alcoholic type products or whatever it is. I remember whenever I was in school that a lot of times that they even said that talk about maybe lowering the drinking age, which I don't know if they ever did or if they're going to be doing that, but they're talking about for like the older kids that between 16 and 17, something like that, that they would want to go out and is like sneak around, maybe want to sip maybe one or two beers or something like that. But anyway, but so far is that for kids, is that with most kids that basically talk about with cheating, is that the type of cheating, which what I think that you're talking about is like with the definition for the word cheating, and I would probably say go ahead and put this in my own words, but a lot of times the teachers there at the school would ask you to do that if you're going to be doing a report, such as talking about a certain subject, a certain definition for words, like for cheating, is that a way of going beyond the rules, and of course the rules of the game. Of course, see here. Go ahead and it could be a game, the rules of the game, or it could be the fact about maybe the policy. And I would say this would apply for like adults too. It's like besides kids and teens and adults, but besides the policy, or it's like it could be a test also. I remember that a lot of times test, or it could be text. If you could maybe, and nowadays with our cell phones, if most of us here have like a little cell phone where we can do like text messaging and stuff like that, but basically it's talk about cheating, and basically is that of course right, talking about is that a way for beyond the rules, and then of course about that is that that if you were to actually look at the answer instead of having it memorized. And a lot of times is that what you see right here, that I went ahead and did right here, is it came up with like an idea for like a puzzle, and you got right here is the puzzle pieces. You get with the like a little block type puzzle right here with the different colors. But basically with Big Bird right here is talking about is that if you were to, most of us worked puzzles before, is like such as maybe the Rubik's Cube, or maybe 3D puzzles, something like that, that a lot of people would probably say they're pretty fun to do, and I really would not even know if you could cheat on a puzzle. But let's just say maybe if you could, that cheat on a puzzle, instead of putting them together just by the lines, from how they were designed or something like that. That from the lines, what I mean by lines from how they were designed is that some puzzle pieces would have the shape kind of like this right here. Is it kind of like where they would fit in between it's like kind of like how do you describe it, but it's kind of like The jigsaw is like different how they connect between vertical and cylindrical is say the type of where they match up with the lines and stuff. With most of us, if you worked like jigsaw puzzles, word puzzles, stuff like that, then a lot of times is that if maybe that if you were to cheat on any type of puzzle, then maybe it's to maybe it is to talk about is like maybe if you misplace a puzzle, or maybe if you were to campaigning against somebody about is like who could maybe put the puzzle together the fastest or something like that. But basically talking about is that when I talk about cheating is with my time, the times tables. I remember I did this whenever I was in see here in the third grade. I think in the third grade that they would test you on your times tables. And you got right here with the reading glasses that they say that if you can use your reading glasses if you need to see the schoolwork. But you have right here is that with the 4, you got the right here is that 4 times 1 is like 4, and then along with 8, so you got right here is for 8, and then 8, 10, 11, 12. And then you got it here and so on, and then of course right here it goes from the numbers from 4 to 9, but of course it it's like those, it's like for the number 4s, but basically is that I mean of course maybe it's like have enough time here to go ahead and write down and the rest of those answers. 12, 14, so 12, 13, 14, 15, so 14. It's like you have it, you would count down the number of you count up and down. Say if you could maybe put in the answers for like the times tables of whatever you to say for the multiplication. It is on for the answers. It's like if you were to go be counting backwards, it's like start from 12 and work your way to 1. But basically is that I got with these numbers of colors right here. And the way I think about it, if you don't know the answer to a question, is like for like 15 is like for like 4 times 6 and 4 times 7, then a lot of times a lot of people would probably say that maybe is the thing about is they kind of give it like that certain color, is that it's all about is like 17, 18, and then of course you count up to 4 and then 7, but of course, it's like that most of the time, most math teachers would give you like a time limit, from whenever you can actually do the test. And a lot of times with the times tables is talking about is that whenever they give you a little multiplication sheet, to be able to fill out, and they would give you a time limit for how long you can do to be able to fill out for whatever answers that you do know. And then of course it's like you got right here 4 times 10, which I think it would be like say 36 if I remember right. I remember that if I can remember right, that 36 is the right answer. For 4 times 10, which I don't know, it might be 40 anyway. But you have right here is like I guess you say that it's better off I guess to get it wrong other than to cheat, because if you cheat, then more I say that back in the third grade I remember I cheated once just to be recognized, but then of course they say that would reflect on whatever grades that they report. It's like for the Cookie Monster. The Cookie Monster, if you cheat or maybe if you get the answer wrong, it's like you say for the munch. Be munching on whatever answers is like provided, and it's like it's like for the cookie, one cookie that would represent is like for the right or wrong answer. For right or wrong answer, and let's just say that maybe the cookie would be shaped at about like that if you got all of them right. If you got all the answers right, it will be shaped about like that, kind of like a cracker right there. But then if you got them wrong, then of course that the pieces will look like this, as a no, like this. Like if it's not, would you call that complete that complete puzzle piece? That completes that complete piece to the puzzle. Then more likely, they say that more likely it's possible that somebody's been cheating, But other than that, you got right, they did these different colors, and then talking about it's like the different things that you will learn about the continents, and then along with you say your history could be world history or American history. But other than that, I would suggest to any kids is to say don't cheat. If you don't know the answer, then I guess more likely it's better off to know, and you're better off to lesson learned for whenever you do fail. If you fail a test, you can more likely take it over again until you pass it. But otherwise, if you were to cheat, then more likely they'd probably say that we'll have to keep an eye on you on your answers more. And cheating, of course, also could include if you're looking off of somebody else's work, because my teacher used to always tell me that don't copy off of somebody else's answers, because more likely that their answers may be wrong too. And so, which I would probably say that in a lot of ways that is true in some way, and of course that some students maybe have their own way of explaining their own answers in some way. They may have their own answers about something, and then of course the teachers may say well, there's your grade. But have right here is that the teachers a lot of times would give you like a smiley face. If you did a good job on your work or whatever, they would give you a smiley face like that. It's like okay, you do like okay, or they would give you a smiley face, kind of like maybe like this. It's like for excellent work or something like that. Nice showing up for class or something like that. And then of course maybe the smiley face, and the smiley face will kind of look like that right there. You got a little nose, and then along right here you got the chickle. It's like the chickle type frown right here. It's like, well, at least you tried, huh? But so far with the word cheating, that most teachers would probably say to most of their students is to know it's better off that you give you a B or a C for your grade. Other than that, it's like for 95 or 98%, more likely they say it's better off to go ahead. It's better off to fail and admit that you didn't study or whatever, other than to know that oh yeah, you did study very well. But then of course the answers are not really in your head. The answers are not memorized. They are what you call written on a piece of notebook paper. And this type of notebook paper right here, of course, to let you know, to keep in mind too, that of course that knowing about to keep in mind is to make the smart choices. By saying the smart choices would be is like if you don't know the answer, then at least guess. But otherwise than that, take the grade. But other than that, it's like between solving the puzzle, and you get right here, it's like the boxes, and along with it's like giving each number a color. It's like you got right here, so for 4, and along with 5, and then along with right here, it's like 8. And which most of us here, so I say it's like if we remember our fractions, it's like our fractions along with our decimals, you say. Our decimals, which I never really was good at math either, but I would probably say that you don't have to be good. You don't have to be good in order to be counted what you call as that champion. You don't have to be good in order to be counted as the champion. At least just try. Is to know that that the teachers would probably say to be proud of you either way. For if your grade winds up being a B or a C, to know it's like this, like how well it's explained is like for lesson learned. So far with Big Bird, along with like this, talking about it's like for so far as that synonym for cheating is like for all kids and anybody is to don't cheat and do your best. So far as lesson learned coloring.